Greetings, everyone. My name is Tony Forman. Welcome once again, my beautiful people, family, as I call you. This is the one and only Tony Forman on the Tony Forman Show, TFS. You tune weekly on Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. Today on our show, I have a very, very special person to me, to Mecklenburg County, and to the city of Charlotte. I have today on the show the one and only Commissioner Yvette Townsend Ingram. I want you to welcome.
Hi, everybody. I'm absolutely delighted to be here. Both Tony and Kristen, we go way back, but Tony, that's my puppy. I call on him for advice, for recommendations. He's a confidant, and I am ever so pleased that he thought it not robbery to have me on his show today. I really enjoy doing that kind of thing, so appreciate it very much.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. It is a pleasure to have you on my show. In my world, you are royalty.
Aww.
And you know that. You know that. You're my number one. I have a lot of friends here, but you and Councilwoman Renee Johnson, number one.
He does. He's a little biased. He treats us wonderfully. Thank you.
But I was eager to have you on the show. Our connection goes way back. Mm-hmm. We used to just go all around Charlotte, attending all the meetings, getting enthralled in a lot of the stuff that other people didn't want to pay attention to. They didn't, and people like us, we get a lot of people coming in and they look at what we do and how we think, and they don't like it because we're straightforward. And that's one of the things that I love about you. You and no stones thrown that are
hidden. Yeah, I have a hard time with I have a hard time, which you wouldn't think a political figure since I'm in politics, but this is not politics for me. It's life work. So I have a hard time with sugarcoating things. I've always been very direct. I don't, the formality of, pomp and circumstance of things. Of course, you need rules and regulations, but when you care about people, when you genuinely care about the results and why something is done a certain way, you ask questions. You ask questions that people don't necessarily want to answer because they call it stirring the pot. Mm-hmm. But always what I want to be dedicated to is equity. I want, where I see there's a wrong, or if I see that I have a talent where I can fix something for somebody, then that's what I want to do. My sign, my birthday was Sunday, and so my sign of Virgo, we are people that like to please. We like to. It makes us happy to make other people happy. I used to actually put on my job profile that what do I like making other people's jobs easier. I like making other people's work easier. So, that's why I fit so well within public service and servant leadership.
I should do research to find out how many elected officials are Virgos? Because on the 17th, it would be my birthday.
Absolutely.
And there's a reason why you and I love each other so, why we're brothers and sisters, and why we do what we do. We do it because we love what we do. You can't be an elected official if you don't love what you do.
Yeah, it's very difficult. You don't do this for the money. You don't do it for some people do it for the title or the glory or the fame, but quite frankly, if you do it correctly, there's not a whole lot of glory. Not a lot of glory in this. It's hard work. It's difficult work. It's a full-time job, even though, we're listed as part-time. That's part of the systemic the system that I want to change. Just like with school teachers, they don't think that our work rises to the level of being paid full time. I know that question was asked recently during the forums that I went to for the city council race. The question was asked of them directly. Do you think that the job of city council should be full time? Do you think that you should receive full time livable wages? And most of them, of course, and understandably, because this was a forum where they're trying to get elected, said no, it's not the right time to give yourself a pay raise. But I've always found it interesting that this system was set up the way it is, because unless you are independently wealthy, you own your own business, you have a spouse that will support you, there's no way that you could do this job, do it appropriately, and not have resources to live day to day. So I have to, worry about paying my mortgage, paying insurance, paying all those things just like anybody else. So as as a single person, that's a little bit difficult to do on a part-time income. But this is truly a job that you do every single day, at least if you want to do it correctly, if you want to actually serve the people in the manner in which they deserve to be served.
I was interested that you put it that way, because like I know, like our producer knows, Charlotte needs an upgrade. It needs a boost. You won't say it, not just because you can, because you just won't say it, but I can say it because I'm not elected. I'm me, I Commissioner. Sorry about that. I'm not going to hold any bones. There's a lot of people that are in our city council and on the very board that you serve on that need to no longer be there. It's that simple. What just happened with city council, it wasn't something that people were waiting for. I got calls from people that all the incumbents were going to win and this and that. And if you notice, I stayed out of the race this year. That was, I didn't want to be singled out or called out or whatever. And being that I'm doing the North Carolina Latino Museum, I didn't want to commit political suicide. So I stayed out of the race, which was a very interesting race. The voters spoke.
They did. And, interestingly enough, I mean, the turnout was better than it has been in previous primaries. It was better, although having I think about 8%, that's still not great. It's nowhere near where we need to be. But we can certainly work on that for the general election. But I totally understand that is the political side that, we all have to deal with. You can't, because you will disenfranchise people before you even get started if they feel like you are taking one side versus another, and they don't understand your reasons for doing so. And I hate that part because for me, it's not personal. It is always about who can do the job the best, who can work with the community the best, who has been out in the community. And I always say, you know what? Empathy is my superpower. Um, I can empathize. The funny thing is I have 3 degrees, but when I tell you that I can empathize on a level that I never thought that I would be able to empathize on with relation to um, raising 2 Black boys in Charlotte Mecklenburg school system, um, you know, facing the economy and layoffs. I mean, when you have a career path that's servant leadership, you don't make money. But I have an MBA, a DBA, but I've never made a certain amount of money. So that career path of leadership, it's one where you have to be humbled, um, and you get to see kind of the way other people is like, no, I'm right here in the boat with you. So it's a better understanding almost. Not that I'm, bemoaning that, but I've told people before the county commission deals with things like funding crisis assistance ministry. And I've told people I've been multiple times have had to go and stand in the line at crisis assistance ministry. And I don't think that other elected officials have had to have that experience. I've had the experience of being laid off and getting the meager sum of unemployment, which is like a joke. Our systems are broken, and we don't often reevaluate those systems when we put them in place to see what's working and what's not. They end up being old, outdated, and not really serving the people that it was intended to serve.
Right. I must share about our relationship and how we pretty much think along the same lines when it comes to community work.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you were not elected, if I didn't know anything and I called you, you were there. And now that you are an elected official, like you told me, you can call me anytime.
That's right. That's right. If I don't pick up, I will get back to you. I promise you that. It's getting more difficult. As the community, I guess, becomes familiar with me and the fact that I care so much. There are so many issues that are at the forefront. And just opening my email, and I just got an email of a lady that said, "Oh, thank you. My daughter got her slot on pre-K. She's in the school that she needs to be because she had trouble." That right there has made my entire
That's the
week.
payment.
That's the
That's
payback. In lieu of money, in lieu of funds, I need enough to get by, but that is the payback for me. That's worth its weight in gold.
and that makes that allows you to actually want to do your work as best as possible.
Exactly.
When I worked for the congressman, and I have hundreds of awards that I could prove, and like you, I have 3 degrees, and we have the same month birthday, so I don't know. We might be family.
We might be relatives. We may be.
My great grandfather might have been a coal miner. Yeah, but what I'm saying is that the work is tedious at times.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people call you and you're in the middle of something, but it's something that it would only take a second, 2 minutes, a minute. And some people would say, nah, I'm not going to be bothered with it. No, it only takes a minute, man. If somebody may need you urgently, take the call, man. And you could always tell them I'll call you back. But I learned that from the congressman.
I think, and having been in this job a whole, 9 months now, having been seasoned for 9 months on the job. And I pray that I never get to a point where I get weary in well-doing, as the scriptures say, because, there is a lot that the public doesn't understand that you can't do, but you may not have the answer. Right. Most of the time, you don't have the answer. Maybe you're a piece of the puzzle of just relieving that frustration, of giving them some kind of reassurance that, okay, here's the next step or the next step. You don't have to have every answer. There are plenty of situations that I've dealt with since I've been commissioner where I have to explain to them, you know what, I don't have the bandwidth to do anything specifically, but this is what I can do. I hate when, I get a response, even from the people that, assist us, or the people that are working staff in county, and county employees are great. But if they come back to me with, well, we can't do that, my immediate is, well, why not? I need options, and I need you to tell me what are the barriers to us actually getting this done. And I need some options. So that's what I want to give to people. I never want to say, well, I can't help you with that. That is like the worst thing ever.
But it's another thing that you do. And after this, we're going to take a break. It's that with me, if you couldn't do it, you would send me to someone. Mm-hmm. That's called relationship, which is something that you have and know how to acquire very well. We're going to take a break now, real quick, Commissioner, and we'll be right back.
All right.
We have to pay the bills.
Let's pay some bills.
Hey everyone, we want to thank you for watching the Tony Forman Show, the new Tony Forman Show. You can catch us on your favorite audio podcast or video podcast platform every Wednesday at 10 in the morning Eastern Time. That's when we drop. So once again, thank you for watching the new Tony Forman Show on your Cannis Media Network. Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying the Tony Forman Show. I also want to remind you that our anchor show, Coffee and Panduste, with Jenny and I, drops every Wednesday. Right, Jen?
Yeah, it's one of the things. We got some new exciting shows coming to you this year with Cannis Media, and we want to definitely promote this. We got Tony Forman and another host, and exciting new looks at especially the Latinx Hispanic community. They're very relevant to that, just like coffee originally was. And tune in, check them out. It won't hurt, and see what you think. Give us some feedback.
All right, continue to enjoy the Tony Forman Show, but also jump over and watch Jenny's show on Two Queers in a Truck, and also our show, Coffee and Panduste. Bye, y'all.
Mm-hmm. Bye, y'all.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching the Tony Forman Show, the new Tony Forman Show. I hope that you're enjoying this and all the other Cannis Media shows. And I'm also excited about the new 6th season of the Two Queers in the Truck show with Jenny and Christian that drops each Wednesday at 11:30 in the morning. Join Jenny and Christian each week as they talk about issues and topics facing the LGBTQ+ community, family, friends, and neighbors across America. Check out Two Queers in a Truck on your favorite video or audio podcast platforms like Facebook, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Audible. Thank you for watching and listening and supporting all of the Cannis Media shows each week, like the new Tony Forman Show, Two Queers in a Truck, and all the other Cannis Media shows in 2025. Find one that's best for you, or better yet, check them all out. And while you're on the treadmill, cleaning the house, or running errands, or just relaxing, please don't forget to join us each week and share us with your family, friends, and neighbors.
Thank you, everybody, for watching the Tony Forman Show. I hope you had a fun time listening to that. This is Wednesday from the Cannis Show. We are always dropping an episode every Thursday at 7 p.m. on all podcast platforms and stuff. So if you want to hear about a lot of progressive, hot leftist takes and just yelling about how the burning of our world sucks, well, also sprinkling in a little bit of gaming and comic book news whenever it comes out pretty cool, just come over here.
Greetings, family. We're back from the break, and I'm here with Commissioner Yvette Townsend Ingram, the #1 commissioner in the county.
And you can
That's
call
my
me Commissioner YTI. That has been coined. Lee Altman gave me that short and tails because people are like, well, is it Townsend? Is it Townsend Ingram?
yeah.
Commissioner YTI works great for me.
Excellent. So I'll reiterate. We're here with Commissioner YTY, right?
YTI, like,
YTI. Oh man, we
yes,
can do a song about that.
exactly. PYT. That's what I think about when I say.
YTI, Commissioner YTI. Anyway, Commissioner, I
Yes,
want to thank you once again for being here with us. And I'm glad that my producer was able to accommodate you so that you could be here. Uh, you're a very close friend of mine. I love you,
I'm
but
grateful
more
for the invitation. Yes.
yes, more importantly, I love what you do. Um, I love that you have what it takes to be a real commissioner, a commissioner for the people, and that's intriguing to me. But I wanted to talk to you because you're not just a commissioner of Charlotte, which a lot of people may think. You're at large, but
Right.
you are a county commissioner, which a lot of people don't understand what it means.
Correct.
Because even though it's county, they think it's Charlotte. Could you explain a little bit about that, and then we'll talk about some issues that you have with what's going on, not only in Charlotte, Mecklenburg, but in the other counties and the part of the county that you get involved in.
So being an at-large county commissioner means that I have all of Mecklenburg County. I'm not assigned to a specific district, like Elaine Powell is District 1, or our chair, Mark Jarrell, is District 4. So I have the entire county, which includes the 6 towns. So I'm concerned with, and I try very hard to get there and to, whenever we make decisions, to be inclusive of them. And I mean, they have their representatives that are included with in their district, they're covered. But we're kind of like the backup, the catch-all. So there's 3 of us that are at large. It's myself, Arthur Griffin, and our vice chair, Lee Altman. And they have done superb jobs of covering everyone and being inclusive of everyone and trying to make sure that there's equity with regard to our services. Because a lot of people don't know what the county commission does versus the city council. It's like, okay, I understand what school board is, but I don't understand the difference between city council because like Huntersville has their own town commission. It's town commissioners, but they're basically city council persons. So it kind of gets confusing. But city council does things like zoning, your trash, your safety, police, things of that nature, transportation. We have an advisor, like Lee Altman is our recommended advisor on the Metropolitan Transit Committee, the MTC for CATS and Charlotte Transit. But that is all under the control of the city of Charlotte. The county is what we call soft skills. So it's Department of Health and Human Services, health things, vaccinations. Our largest role really is to set the property tax rate. A lot of people don't understand that, know that. We set the property tax rate, which means your home, your car, things of that nature. And we also do a large portion of our budget for education, and that means CPCC and Charlotte Mecklenburg schools. So a lot of our budget is dedicated to education. So that is the difference. And I'm open and welcome to explain that. Like, I don't think if somebody calls me with a problem, I don't say, oh, well, that's city council. I will tell them, explain to them what I can and what I cannot do for them. And then I will get them to the right person.
Right.
Housing issues within Libyan, that's the city of Charlotte. So, I use that as an example. You're familiar with that. And so,
Yeah.
getting
I'm
you to
very
the right
familiar.
individuals.
Yeah, so I'm glad that you started from the beginning and went to where you went. You ended up with your chat, but a lot of people here don't they don't get involved, but neither do they know. And I believe it's because they don't get involved,
Mhm.
don't know how our local government works. Some people would call city council for something that has to do with the county,
Right. That happens all the time. Yeah.
and then when you try to explain it to them, they don't understand. But if it happens with Commissioner YTI, did I get it right?
You got it right. You got it
uh,
right.
they would get a better understanding of, because you're explaining to them how it works and why you can directly help them. But you could do this and you could do that. Interestingly enough, Mark Jarrell does the same thing.
Hmm.
Uh,
Interestingly enough, Mark Jarrell is one of my mentors. He actually got me into politics. Him and Senator Joyce Wydell, and Luana Mayfield, surprisingly enough. A lot of people don't know that. So I'm an educator by heart, by trade. I did, I always say I did 2 years on the inside at Charlotte Mecklenburg schools and make that joke. But yeah, I'm an educator at heart. I love explaining and teaching, and I'm a lifelong learner. I don't believe you ever come to an exact conclusion that you know everything about any subject at all. There's, intelligence means that you're able to question everything and consider other options and ideas concerning that. I mean, otherwise, so yeah, I love educating people, and engagement becomes easier once you understand. Okay,
yes.
and so I say start with online. Now, nowadays you can go to a city council meeting online and kind of see if that's your thing. And then if you want to come down and speak, you can do that. And you don't have to be intimidated by that. You can come to a county commissioner meeting and talk about whatever issue it is. And that's the beauty of government. There's so many opportunities to get engaged.
Yeah, thank you for that answer, because people need to hear that. Now, I know you've been there 9 months, but you know your job very well because you've always been engaged, though you weren't elected. You just didn't become a commissioner
No.
because you were doing the work, and I could attest to that.
Yeah,
Before
I've always been in some kind of service leadership. Even in college, I won a community service award for raising funds for the Sojourners Women's Shelter in West Virginia, where I'm from. But service has always been a part of what I did. I think I heard Congresswoman Alma Adams say that service is the rent we pay for being here on this earth, and I really do believe that. It's like I do lay awake. I can't sleep knowing that somebody else is going without something. It concerns me. My 2 years of teaching in Charlotte Mecklenburg schools opened my eyes. I would have never, and I say this often, I would have never believed the things that went on in schools actually went on there had I not seen it with my own eyes. If you had told me, I wouldn't believe it. And that's with two sons that graduated from Charlotte Mecklenburg School. So it was eye-opening. And I tell you what, even the elected officials, a lot of them now, parents, elected officials, community leaders, they need to understand that times have changed, and students and people are dealing with things that are so much different. They say, well, you should just do this and you should just do that and just, but they're dealing with issues, first of all, that children should not have to deal with. homelessness, sex trafficking. Yes, and I know I had kids that were sex trafficked. Some of them only get one meal a day. So you're asking them to sit down and to accomplish these goals and these standardized tests, knowing that you couldn't do that if you were facing all of these life issues. So I think that we have to be, like I said, more empathetic, and that goes to the question we were talking about during the break with regard to the horrendous act of the young lady, the young Ukrainian lady, woman that was murdered on Cat's Light Rail.
Mm-hmm. Could you expound on that a little bit more?
So one of
What do you think?
my priorities is mental health and mental awareness, mental wellness, and removing the stigma, particularly in the minority community, of seeking help at all, but specifically about mental health. You have a primary care physician. Why would you not want or need someone to talk to about all of these stressors that you have in your life on an everyday basis? That, the mind is a very fragile thing. And the stress that we put in it, it's a very powerful tool, and we only use about 3% of our brain. So imagine if something gets foggy, or, we're too, not to say that we should be lenient with people who commit violent crimes, but I'm saying that there are categories and there are ways of dealing with it. And I think that we too often close our eyes and think that it's somebody else's problem until it hits us, until it wrecks our home, until it wrecks our community. And I think that now, quite frankly, this young woman is being used as a political football.
Yes.
This tragic issue is being used for political gain, for political points. And it's sad because at the end of the day, there are not just 2 lives that are gone, but there are families that are destroyed. The young Ukrainian woman's family is destroyed. She will not be here anymore. The heinous act. And then, here's this man that's had this history of mental health issues, obviously has been diagnosed as having mental health problems. But again, that goes to the resources that we beg for. And, we say, well, he got out and he didn't have this. Well, we don't have the beds. We don't have this. I heard that, our mayor said that it was because of the magistrate and not. Well, guess what? I know DA Merriweather has been very passionately talking about the resources that are lacking, that are needing 158 people a day moved to Mecklenburg County, but we're still using the same old resources and, that we've always had. What sense does that make? So we need more magistrates, but we can't just get more magistrates. Guess what? There's a statute that says that the county or the city, local funds can't be used to get additional magistrates. So they make these comments about you have to do this and you have to do that, knowing that we are a Dillon Rule state and there are certain things that are controlled by the North Carolina General Assembly that we locally cannot do.
Do you think that out of the magistrate's control?
Out of the magistrate's control. There's a shortage, quite simple and plain. Yes, it was heinous. Yes, it was awful. No, he should not have been on the streets. But where would you recommend that we put him? If we don't have the facilities, if we don't have the staff, if we don't have the resources to care for him, where should he go?
That's correct. So it's not in my backyard type of thing.
Correct.
Where those that can do something about it won't step up.
Correct.
And I believe that's our state representatives. And even then, what's going on now, some of our state representatives, we don't run the state house. So there's some, even if you wanted to, you couldn't do it. But the thing is that what they're doing now in the media is villainizing our city. Look, I moved here from New York, and I immediately fell in love with Charlotte. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people that they're not even Southerners, because I know there's a lot of people that move here recently, of those 150 or more that move here daily, that they're not from Charlotte and their parents are not from Charlotte. But if they come here and visit Charlotte, they'll fall in love with it. I feel my wife and I, when we go to New York and we're coming back, and we're on 77, we look for the lights, we look for the buildings, and we know we're home.
But you know what? Here's the thing. You've experienced something different, so you can appreciate what we have here. A lot of people have been here. They've not been exposed to other environments, and they don't understand or realize the wealth that they have here in Mecklenburg County. You know, I did immediately, because I moved from West Virginia, and there's, you know, the joke is it takes one tank of gas to get to North Carolina. Any point in West Virginia, you can start it. It just takes one tank of gas to get here. And I have a lot of friends, community members from West Virginia that live right here in Mecklenburg County. But the thing is this: if we don't take care of it, if we don't take care of our infrastructure, you know, and if we don't have the right people advocating in the right way for those resources to better our infrastructure, then we will end up like those other places. I can't emphasize that enough, that the people that care, you know, they're screaming about, you know, a certain fee or a tax, not understanding that, you know, there's a finite way we have of doing certain things, of paying for certain things, and you keep putting the same people in office, you know.
Hey everyone, we want to thank you for watching the new Tony Forman Show on your favorite audio or video podcast platform. Every Wednesday at 10 in the morning Eastern Time it will drop. So once again, thank everyone for watching the new Tony Forman Show, brought to you on your Cannis Media Network.
Hi everybody, this is Wednesday from the Wednesday Show over here. All I'm here is doing a little quick PSA. Use this summer to do volunteer work. Go to your nearest YMCA, go to your nearest homeless shelter, go to whatever community services or programs that you can help out and volunteer. Because right now, we have a bunch of fascist pieces of shit trying to rip apart our country and rip apart the people, our communities, by spreading hate and bigotry. The best way to combat it is, one, working in your community and standing strong to show that you are strong and you're here to help out others. Two, combat misinformation. If you hear bullshit, first research and make sure if it's true or not. If it is not true, call it out. If it is true, get the facts. Be knowledgeable of it, because it might come out later. So always stand against that. And three, fuck fascists. Stand against them. Make them feel uncomfortable. There is too many people out there feeling like they can say the hard R or say slurs or be violent. Make them understand that a lot of people died to make sure this hatred and bigotry does not exist. All our civil rights workers, all the people who stormed Normandy, everybody who fought against intolerance and hatred, they died and worked their asses off to stop this. So follow in their footsteps and stop this madness. This is Wednesday again from Wednesday, and all I can say is be there for your community and stand up for what's right. Fuck fascism and have a wonderful day.
Welcome back, family. I am very, very sorry. We've had some technical difficulty, something that we can't control. But what we can control is that we have the one and only Commissioner
YTI.
I just used to calling you Event Townsend. YTI. Commissioner Event Townsend Ingram. Welcome back, Commissioner, and thank you for
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, Commissioner, where did we end off at? You were talking. You were saying something.
What can the county commission do better?
Yes.
There's always room for improvement. Every time I walk into a room or go to a meeting or a committee, I was at a meeting this morning where I read a proclamation and I learned so much from this young man. But what the county commission can do better, and that's why we set priorities every year. And largely they're around education, economic development, and all of that looking through a lens of equity. So our job is to fill in the gaps where your life doesn't connect with, for whatever reason, with services. We're here to fill in that gap. So what we can do a better job of always is communicating what those services are. I say all the time, we have so many services here at Mecklenburg County that I didn't know. I'm still learning all of the services that Mecklenburg County has to offer. So communicating those services, just communications as a whole, being able to have, I don't like having meetings just to have meetings. There has to be action items that follow. And when we have a community meeting, I absolutely have to have a call to action, a next step. What are we going to do next? When are you going to hear from me next? I don't want this to just be something we talk about and then we move on until the next thing happens that we have to talk about. And I know that my colleagues feel the same way. We are laser focused on identifying what issues there are, and then taking steps to be inclusive. That was the one thing that came from a community meeting last week that was held at First Baptist Church West. People want to be included on the solutions, on the options for their solutions. They don't want to be told what options are available to them and then said, here, choose from this. This is what you got to choose from. They want to be included on how their problems are getting solved, because it's their problem, it's their issue, and nobody knows that issue better than them.
Yeah, that's interesting because as a therapist, I follow Carl Rogers' client-centered theory, and that's one of the things that he says, that sometimes we don't include or tell, like you just stated, we tell the person that has the problem what the problem is, but you're not including me in the solution. Malcolm X says you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution.
Exactly.
And we fall short sometimes when we don't include the people who are being, I don't want to say victimized, who have fallen prey to a lot of those things. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And they feel much more better. They respect you more as an elected official if you are including them.
Right. It makes you feel like you're actually giving a damn if, you sit and listen, number one, and that you're not just listening to respond. I know you as a therapist, I know you know all about that. Just not listening to be able to give back the next pat response. Yes. And if you listen intently enough, you might just learn some ways that you can help other people.
Well, I have.
That's always the goal. If you listen to people, and you work it out together, they're helping to be a part of the solution. Guess what? You can more than likely help more than just that one person if you're inclusive.
Yeah, well, that too, you're not giving a person a fish, you're showing them how to fish.
Exactly.
And they could go out now and help somebody else because you helped them and you included them in the process.
Absolutely.
I think some elected officials want to feel like, in short, they have no empathy.
Yeah.
They have no empathy. And I see you, Commissioner. I see a future. You may not know it, but I see a future. I see you in Raleigh and then in Washington.
You're seeing something that I will do what thus saith God. I'm very spiritual. I'm a faithful person. But my goal at this point is to sit my little hind end right here on the county commission, put other young people in the pipeline, to succeed me. I think that that is critically important. You brought that up before about, there are some where it's time to go. And I think it's because they're afraid of losing that little bit of power that they have, instead of passing along the wisdom that they've been able to earn over the years. But I also want to talk about too, we left off talking about mental health and mental wellness. This month is actually Suicide Prevention Month. September is every year. And there's some awesome programs. Mecklenburg County has partnered with a bunch of organizations that will help young people, old people, whoever you are. NAMI, NAMI, is a great organization that I know partners to help young people. Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools has some great opportunities for young people. They just have to just make the effort, just tell somebody. And so I don't know if you remember a beautiful Miss America by the name of Chesley Christ, Kryst. Chesley was an influencer. She was on like Inside Edition, one of the news magazine shows. She was a Juris Doctorate and an MBA. This girl had it going on, and she was gorgeous.
I heard of her.
Miss America, right? But Chesley, just like myself, suffered from a mental illness condition. And we are very good, and I say we, and I include myself because I'm removing the stigma, and I'm just, sometimes people are just too ashamed to say that. But yeah, diagnosed. You don't want people to judge you. You don't want people to think you're crazy. That's, and especially in the minority community. But she was, diagnosed. She had clinical depression. And with all of the people around her, all the wealth, all the fame, she just could not stay. And so she did die by suicide a few years ago. And so I've partnered, I'm in talks with her mother, who's a beautiful woman by the name of April Simpkins. Her mother actually continued a memoir of Chesley. She has a book out called By the Time You Read This. So what I would love to do is to do a tour with April and just ask students, because we don't ask them. And so the name of our campaign is called What Can I Do to Get You to Stay? And when I first heard that this beautiful young woman, 30 years old, had decided that she could not stay and took her life, my first thought was, oh my gosh, I know what she was going through, and I wish I knew her. I wish that I was her friend so I could call and check on her. And even now, as I'm thinking, I'm like, there are friends that you haven't called and checked on, so you need to check yourself. You need to check on your people. We say that as a joke, but seriously, you do need to check on your friends. People are very good at hiding, masking. Oh yeah, everything is great. We had a speaker this morning. His name was Doug, and I can't remember his last name. NFL player, and his best friend from since elementary took his life, and he had just talked to him 2 days before, and asked him. He asked him, he's like, "Man, are you good? Is everything all right?" And he was like, "Man, yeah, everything's great. I'm great." And they're both telling each other how great they are. And then, 2 days later, his father's calling to say your best friend is gone. So I think that we have to be reminded that the mind is a very fragile thing, that we have to take very good care of it, that there is a very thin line between that it's like a vibration between this level of intelligence and mental illness, because the mind is so powerful. And because we don't understand it, we fear it, and so we don't like talking about those type issues. But there are options for people, so that there are alternatives to people turning violent, either against themselves or against others.
Yeah, most definitely. One of the most important things that you said is check in on friends
Yes.
and family members. And not because you said it, I'm telling you, I am always, when I don't hear about somebody, I send a text,
Mm-hmm.
yo, greetings, good morning,
I ain't
whatever.
seen you. Yes, you've gotten on me. Yo, what, you don't like me?
And the thing is that that's a very interesting project. And once you get it going, we would like you to come back on the show along with her.
Would love to. Would love to.
More people need to know about this.
Yes.
And interesting enough,
Awareness.
somewhere along the line, we had Shay, a friend of
Mm-hmm.
us, on the show, and he spoke about his passion, his film, uh, documentaries, and all that other stuff. We need to sit down and talk with Shay and her and see how we could do, not just go to the school or go wherever, record it and turn it into a documentary. And I want to be a part of that because I'm a producer.
Yeah. All right. Let's do it.
I would like to be a part of it. It could be done, sis.
Yeah, let's not just talk about it. Let's do it. Let's be about it. I love it.
So we just got to get with Shay.
Yeah.
And we get with her. And I believe that as long as we have the particulars of what it is that you guys are going to do, and you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
agenda, as you said, it could be done, and it could be something that we could get sponsors for, because
Absolutely.
mental health is big, and we have a problem because a lot of people are not looking into it and not doing much about it. There are people that are doing it, but not enough.
There's not enough. There's not enough awareness, and you have to, for people for it to take root, you have to do something over and over and over and over and over again. It's never enough. It's never redundant. You just have to keep it in the forefront. And I think now is an opportunity to use it in a good way, to highlight mental wellness. And there are several, stories of triumph that have come from, from pain. They're, turning your tragedy into to something that is useful to someone else. There's nothing better than that.
Yeah. Well, my beautiful Commissioner YTI.
You got it. Yes.
Yeah, I love you.
Love you,
We
puppy.
love you. The community loves you. Listen, when I talk about the steps of where you could go from here, I agree with you about bringing someone along, bringing the younger. And you and I talk about that all the time.
All the time. Yes.
But once you bring a young one along to do your job, we need to be in step for you to go to the next step. And then you bring another one along. And then you go to Washington, and then you bring another one along, and then you make history.
Sure. Sure. Why not? We can dream big. But look, I want to say also a congratulations to all of our city council members.
Yes.
Running a campaign is, oh my gosh, it's so labor intensive. But when I say that voter turnout, it wasn't great, it wasn't stellar, but it was a slight improvement. So we'll take it. We'll take every win we can get. So remember the general election, that was just the primary. So people remember the general election is in November. In November, I think it's 4th. Anyways, that first Tuesday in November. So what I want to say is thank you, Charlotte, for paying attention. There's been some changes, so we know that you were paying attention. And stay engaged. Stay engaged. That's encouraging. When we hear that there's any kind of change, that means that the apathy is slipping away, and we have opportunity here to really do some positive things. So thank you, Tony, and thank you, Christian. Very much appreciated. And thank you for bringing awareness to the community, for doing the show, and for inviting me. I hope I get an opportunity to come back.
You will be coming back quite a few times. So get ready.
Set it up. Set it up.
You know, I want to publicly congratulate my friend Renee
Perkins Johnson, City Councilwoman of District 4.
District 4 for a phenomenal job. District 4 loves her. I tried to tell these people don't mess with her because her district is not going to let her go anywhere. So Renee, when you watch the show, we got to bring you on. Commissioner Cano, we need to send, Commissioner Cano, he's a commissioner too. But Producer Cano, please send an invitation to City Councilwoman from the 4th Councilmanic District, Renee Perkins Johnson, an invitation to come and sit down and talk with us and tell us about.
May I suggest as well, make another suggestion? We don't know, actually quite sure if District 5 City Council, but it is significant that he is the first Latino to be elected to Charlotte City Council. JD Arias.
Thank you everybody for watching one more time the Tony Forman Show. TYF. Today we had the pleasure of having two wonderful guests, and one of them is my very own friend, Commissioner YTI. I want y'all to remember that. It's not Commissioner Event Council Ingram, but Commissioner YTI.
YTI, that's simpler. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you for being on the show, Commissioner. We really appreciate you. It was a tremendous job that you did and very informational for us. The community would be elated to know that you're coming back again. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, everybody. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. Thank you for being a part of my world. And we'll see you next week for the show.